Alrighty guys, what is up? Welcome back to Path of Exile with Lone Debater 7. So we're just going to hand in these quests real quick. This one gives us a gem, so we probably are going to want Raise Spectre. I'm just checking all of them to see. So yeah, we're going to take Raise Spectre, and this is basically your primary gem for this build. We can't get the actual monster we want for our specters quite yet because they're not available until Act 5, but that is a-okay. We can raise different type of monsters for specters in the meantime, and it will definitely increase our DPS and sustain. We will show that off in just a moment. First I'm going to sell off all this random shit in our inventory because we are pretty full up after going through all those maps, so now is as good a time as any, I feel like, to kind of clean things out. With that being said, we are going to sell this flask as well because we're going to put this Colossal on our number 1 because we can use it now. So we've got 1,000 life and a 979. It'd be good to get a better mana flask. So let me show you how to use the orbs to upgrade items, because it is definitely something you should consider doing, because it will increase your ability to clear maps, and it'll improve the quality of your your flasks substantially. So we need this to give back to Fairgraves. We'll go do that in a minute. But let's say you've got an alchemy orb, right? This will upgrade a white item to a rare item. Unfortunately, with flasks, you can't use those. So what you use is an Orb of Transmutation. It'll upgrade a normal to a magic, and this will give us a giant mana flask that's blue, so this will give us 30% charge recovery. I don't really like these boosts, right? So what you can do, first off, you can take an Orb of Augmentation. So this has the max amount of mods, but let's say it just gave us one, so if we didn't have the 0.4 spell damage leached as energy shield, right? If that modifier wasn't there and we only had the 30%, using an Orb of Augmentation would add a second modifier to it, right? So that's pretty good. You want to have 2 modifiers on stuff if you can help it. So what we're going to do right here is we're going to upgrade all of our well, we won't upgrade this one because it's kind of garbage, but so like our Quicksilver Flask, it can have 2. So if we do this, we gain a charge now whenever we're hit by an enemy. So that's actually a pretty good modifier for a Quicksilver Flask because it means it'll, refill pretty quick. These ones are just regular, so that increases evasion. Immune to curses, remove curse on use. So this gives us a plus maximum charges, so that's decent. I guess we can keep that. I am going to add the second modifier to this, so this reduces the amount recovered. It does instantly apply stuff, so that can be good. I would rather have a larger flask, so what you can do to re-roll the buffs is use Orbs of Augmentation. So if I click this on here, it changes all of the benefits of this flask. So remove shock, I don't really care about that. Don't really care about that. Critical strike, gain a charge, that's not very good. So this increases the amount recovered, and okay, so this changes how this flask works. Basically, we have to wait for the timer. So we have to wait 5 seconds, and then we'll gain the full amount when it finishes. So that's actually decent. It does change how you use it, so you got to pop this before you run out of mana, basically. So instant recovery when on low life. That's a decent set because it's only a 25% reduction, but I would prefer to have one that increases the amount of life recovered, if at all possible. So this increases evasion and the number of charges, so that's a decent combo. I guess we'll just keep that for now. But that's how you use these currency items, so it's worthwhile to upgrade your normal items to magic, typically speaking, because you're going to get multiple buffs on things as opposed to just having regular stuff. So if I take this wand off, for example, this I can use an alchemy orb on, and it'll upgrade it to gold. So now we get increased physical damage, better cast speed, better accuracy, and it does cold damage on attack. So that's actually really powerful for us, because if we cast our Stormbrand on an enemy, we're going to be doing cold damage by default now with our wand. So that's pretty good. I'm okay with that. So I think everything else is upgraded, so good enough. What I want to do first is we're going to go to the docks, talk to Fairgraves, and turn in his quest while I mean, just because we can. So here we go. You get your choice between rings. So I normally go for the coral rings with this build, just because getting increased life is kind of the toughest thing for us. We also get cold damage and cold resistance. So, I mean, realistically, this isn't better than the rings we've got, but whatever. Sometimes you get lucky on the modifiers and you get something really good. Sometimes you don't. So we need to go to the Lunaris Temple for our mainline quest. So let's go ahead and pop in here. I do need to re-raise all my zombies, apparently, because and the reason for that is because we unequipped our wand. So this is, I want to say, where we fight Piety, which is the act boss. So, yeah, we might, well, we'll get down there, I guess, because it's worth doing, but we may want to wait a little bit. So let's take that Scroll of Wisdom, raise our 5th zombie. So these dudes, the little needler guys is what I call them, they are the worst enemy to fight for us because they can shoot from a really far distance, and if you don't have all your resistances capped, you get just wrecked, or at least I do with this build. I don't know why, like, those enemies are just fucking difficult for this build to take down for some reason, and it's probably my bad. Like, I'm probably not building out my armor or something the right way for it. So if you know why those dudes, just like, look how fast they take us down. Like, I mean, no other monster on the map that's white does any damage like that to us. At least it seems like none of them do that much damage to us. So I don't understand why these guys just, like, destroy us so quickly, but they do. So bear that in mind when you're going through the level 2 of the Lunaris Temple. Watch out for those guys. You want to prioritize killing them because they will wreck your shit, basically. And they're not that easy to dodge either. So we're going to go ahead and take this Essence of Woe. Of course, it has one of these fucking dudes on it, but that's okay. This is where your escapability and having good flasks is going to be beneficial for you, because if you don't, you're going to have a sad day and you're going to die. So there's another white dude over here, or yellow dude over here. So our zombies should go over and kill him, which they did. Great. So that's kind of how you have to deal with them, is basically you mark them with your W spell and summon a bunch of skulls, and then you just back up so your minions take all the damage instead of you. But anyway, just thought I'd mention that because I remember the first time I came into the Lunaris Temple and fought those guys with this build. Like, it was amazing to me how fast they took us down because nothing else really does that kind of damage to us. With that being said, you know, you can still deal with it. Like, it's not the end of the world, but if you're not prepared for it, you might end up dying. And, you know, if you're like me, you don't want to die unless you're fighting the bosses or what have you. So just thought I'd mention that here. So that is good. We are getting our gems up. What we should be doing is finding some specters to raise, because we do have that spell open now, which is good. Basically, the way the Raise Spectre stuff works is you pick an enemy you want to have fight for you, and you raise them as a specter, right? Pretty straightforward, all things considered. So, like, let's say I wanted to have one of these dudes as a specter. I cast Raise Spectre on him. It takes a fair amount of mana. You only get one to start off with. There is a passive perk you can get that allows you to increase that. Ultimately, with this build, if you have all the, like, modifiers and stuff on your armor, you can have up to 5 of them, I believe, is the min-max level you want. I think, technically speaking, you can have up to 7, but if you have 7 of them, you sacrifice something else as far as, like, sustainability passives or something. I forget what it, like, how you get it up to 7, but you can. It's not worth it to go to 7. Just bear that in mind. So let's get our increased life. That'll be good. increase the durability of our minions. We're going to grab this armor scrap, and we are going to keep on pushing through and kill some stuffs. Cool. And the specters are cool because basically it's like having that monster fight for you. It's similar to having a zombie minion. The only difference is whatever type of damage the specter normally casts when it's alive. So like those little needle dudes, I want to say probably do chaos damage. Would make the most sense. That's the type of damage your specter is going to cast as well. So it can be pretty powerful. You can synergize, like how you're attacking that way. What you're ultimately looking for as far as your specters are concerned is you want slave drivers, which you can get in Act 5 at the control blocks by casting Desecrate on the ground. So that's where you get the actual specters the build is supposed to be used with. But, until we get to Act 5, you can use kind of whatever monster you want. I normally go for the big stone dudes just because they're fairly powerful. These dudes aren't bad either, I guess, because they have the ranged attack ability, which is useful, I suppose. But let's go ahead, we'll get this. Cool. Awesome. Oh, shit. Pop a life. Cool. So, we should be getting close. You can tell because there will be a point where there's like a staircase that leads up somewhere, and that's kind of the end. And it leads into where you fight Piety. Which, Piety is a strong fucking boss, so you want to go to the library and stuff like that before you actually take them on, so you can get all your skill gen... Oh, shit. Well, we got killed. That sucks. I guess I didn't push Flame Dash fast enough. So, what way do we actually have to go? So that's definitely the downside of dying, is you have to, re-walk through the entire map to get back to where you are, depending on where the checkpoint is. Normally it's either at the entrance or the waypoint, so just bear that in mind. I want to say there is a waypoint before you enter into the arena with Piety, hopefully. Like, that's my hope, because I would prefer not to fight Piety right this moment, just because we aren't really ready for it. We need to level up a little bit more and stuff like that. But no worries. We are going to go back over this way and hopefully... So, you may notice that the Spectre is fairly squishy to start off with. That is because their strength is directly proportional to the gem skill level. So, as the skill gem for our Raise Spectre increases, our Spectres will become stronger, right? So, bear that in mind. You want to level up your Raise Spectre gem as soon as possible, because it is going to make a big difference for your overall DPS, the sustaining your minions, all that kind of good noise. So... Anyway, here we go. So I'm actually kind of liking using these Needler dudes for my Spectre, just because they are like the most annoying dude for me to fight. So having one on my side means that they can, like, fight for us. So we lost the Spectre, you just raise another one. Not a big deal. Pretty easy. So grab that Mana Flask, because why not? We can try to re-roll a new modifier on it and see if we get something better than what we're currently using. That's kind of the way I deal with Flask, is, you just keep on re-rolling. Like, you get a good base Flask to begin with, and then you just re-roll the modifiers. So anyway, obviously you can do whatever you want. It's just a guide to kind of give you an idea of how to play if you're new, or trying to look for some guidance on how to play a Necromancer build. Like, that's what I'm here for. So this is a rare giant mana, so we will take that because we don't have to waste an orb of transmutation to get the modifier. We might have to use an augmentation orb on it just to get the second modifier on it. It just depends on if we get lucky when we identify it. So I think, great. Okay, so we should have all those dudes taken down. Yeah, I want to say it's up here. So this is going to be leading into the staircase that goes up to the Piety arena. I'm just going to respawn all my zombies because they're low on health. But yeah. So there's a lot of Needler dudes and Chaos Damage type dudes up here. And the reason why I want to wait to fight Piety is because I want to get that Chaos Resistance wheel at least started. Because she does deal Chaos damage and she spawns these dudes in, which I believe also do Chaos damage. So it'd be good to have a little bit of resistance. So basically you go through this portal and that will take you to the boss fight with Piety. So, I mean, fuck it. Let's just Leroy Jenkins this shit and see if we can do this. So Piety can be a tough boss fight. We'll see kind of how we end up doing. I mean, granted, we are doing a decent amount of damage to her. Just avoid those little lightning orbs and these lightning beams because they will one-shot you, which can get annoying. The other annoying thing about fighting Piety is she does warp around the map a lot, so you know, you gotta kind of pay attention to your minions and stuff and make sure that they're actually targeting her. Otherwise, you're not actually DPSing the boss, you're just DPSing random enemies. So we beat Piety actually fairly easily, even without the Chaos Resistance, so I'm cool with that. We'll take the tower key. So Piety isn't technically the boss for this, it's just like a mini boss, more or less. So I'm just going to move off that portal for a second and go back to the Sarn encampment. We should get a quest quest complete for defeating Piety. So let's talk to Marmoa, talk to Hargan, talk to Narvali, and one of them will probably give us a reward. Yeah, so we get a book of skill, so that's good. We will go ahead and take that. Let's go ahead and identify these flasks. So we got a Colossal. This one's kind of garbage as far as its modifiers are concerned. So let's do this. I kind of want to upgrade that flask and see, because that is going to give us more mana than... Ooh, okay. So some sort of glitch is happening. No worries. We are going to go over here. We're going to take Sacrifice, because it'll scale our minions more. There we go. Now this is loaded in. Upgrade this, and then we're gonna add the second modifier. That's actually not bad. 24% reduced charges, so that means we probably get an extra use out of the flask. 415. Oh, alright. Guess we disconnected. That's fine. Sometimes my latency gets a little weird. It just, like, You'll encounter that sometimes. I don't know, or at least I do. We'll see if we can get logged back in, though. Hopefully. If not, we'll probably just call the episode here and come back later. It's possible they may have pushed a update through as well. They'll kick you out of the server if there's an update you have to, install. I know they were looking at adding a new augmented item for the Heist League, so that might be what this is. We don't have that installed, so... Anyway, guys, we were able to beat Piety this time. We completed the Fairgraves quest, so that's pretty good. Next time, we're going to go back through and try to get into the library and cover all of that goodness. If you enjoyed the episode, be sure to like, comment, subscribe as always. And until next time, this has been LD7, and we will see ya.